Hi.
It's book haul time, which
That
is
is
always
right.
an exciting time.
Lovely and exciting. Nice, short and sweet haul today. So
Let's see how short.
let's
it
see
really
how
is.
short and how sweet. Let's get started. So I'm gonna start with mine since I didn't really buy too many things that she didn't already get in some other format.
I like how you're pointing fingers at me when you are the one
I will point all my fingers.
who agreed that the other thing should be in multiple formats. Anyway, you guys will find out at the end of this video.
You guys
obviously.
will definitely find out at the end. I, to nobody's surprise, got, well, only because I sort of pre-ordered it, so it's just gonna arrive when it says it's gonna arrive. Dawn of X 14 is out. We're about 2 more volumes before the Dawn of X series sort of ends.
Really? I can't believe it actually is coming to an end.
I know, it's great. Well, no, yeah, because I think after this there was another series and then another, and it's all of X. So you got Dawn of X, where the mutants finally have their own homeland, they've got their own country, they're running the world basically from behind because they're giving like cancer curing drugs to everybody and saying, hey, in exchange for making your lives better and making them actually longer, we're gonna take over everything now because, you know, we're awesome. And that's what where the mutants are. Pretty cool. People still don't like that. That's its own thing. X of Swords, which also ended, which is actually one of my favorite sort of side stories. How to even begin to explain it. Take the mutants that are pretty comfy and then put a threat that's going to threaten the comfy.
Okay.
And then shake it up by using 10 swords from each side and making them fight. That's probably the worst description of X of Swords, but it is just so the best. But it is just so long-winded. But of all of the, you know, crazy arcs that the X-Men have gone through, this to me was, I think, artfully done, right? X of Swords had a bit of mystery in it, had a lot of magic in it. It had character development and character bits that move the story forward, built into sort of like the gladiatorial kind of plot where you've got 10 swords from Krakoa versus 10 swords from Morocco, who was a former like sort of like mutant enclave before, you know, Apocalypse did his thing, and was actually where Apocalypse was from. So to have that kind of an ancient tie to the new threat, which is actually the old threat, that, you know, it's so multi-layered. It's a great installment. It's crazy. It is bananas, and I love it. So that's where we are, and those are the things that I got.
Okay, I'm gonna start by showing off a box that I got because I got to see an early screening of this movie and Maki watched it with me.
I did.
It's the movie Moxie. As you can see, this is the box with the sort of promo ad.
Right, which we reviewed like months and months, like I want to say last year, I think.
I don't even remember.
Anyway, so yeah, and that was there.
Last year. I don't think it was last year. Alright, so there was an Uber Eats gift card on this. Has already been used. It came with some temporary tattoos, which I also started using.
I drew stars and hearts on mine.
They also gave you a card that sort of has a organization that you can donate to, which is pretty great. There is a shirt in the box that says, "Got Moxie."
Nice.
There were also cookies in this box. One says Moxie and the other one is a leather jacket with pins.
And these two will be gone by tonight.
There are stickers as well, which are pretty cool. They say Moxie, a few other things as well. There are buttons.
Buttons.
There's a zine in here, which is something that you...
Oh yeah, this is
which
great.
is
an actual sort of like
story.
Recreation of the movie zines.
Yes, which is pretty cool.
Which
and
is
there is a paperback
awesome.
copy of the book Moxie by Jennifer Matthew. So this book is about a young lady named Vivian Carter, and she's kind of fed up with how her small town Texas high school is. There's a lot of sexist dress codes and hallway harassment, and the football team gets all the glory. Viv has always been sort of a rule follower, but she's kind of pushed to the edge, and inspired by her mom, who was sort of a punk rock riot girl
back in the day,
she decides to start secretly creating the feminist zine, like what we just showed you, and she distributes this anonymously at the school at first. It's just her way of venting, but apparently a lot of other girls are finding this really relatable and sort of blows up into this very big thing, and that is essentially what the movie Moxie is about. And it was a pretty decent adaptation. I enjoyed it for what it was. I don't think it quite had the same charm or heart that I found in the book. I mean, personally, the book had been a book that I really enjoyed when I read it, and I think that was like 4 years ago, so I don't know, I haven't read it since then. I would recommend checking this one and the movie out if you've got the time. The next thing that I got is from Alfred Knopf, and it is a book called Clara and the Sun by Kazuo Ishiguro. It's basically about Clara, who is an artificial friend. She is in a store, and she is really hopeful that someone is going to pick her as their artificial friend, but apparently at some point in the story, the possibility is shown to her that her circumstances could be very, very different, and she is warned that she shouldn't invest too much in the promises of humans. So it's basically...
yeah, sure, I can relate to
So
that.
it says, in Clara and the Sun, Kazuo Ishiguro looks at our rapidly changing modern world through the eyes of an unforgettable narrator to explore a fundamental question. What does it mean to love?
Gosh.
It sounds like it's going to be real interesting. I've never read a book by him, but I really like the premise of this one.
Violet Evergarden bait.
I know. The next book is First Become Ashes by K.M. Sfarza. It says, for 30 years... Zapara? Spara. I'm sorry, we're totally butchering that. This one came from Tor.com. So it says, for 30 years, the Fellowship of the Anointed isolated its members, conditioning them to believe that pain is power, and that magic is suffering, that the world beyond the fence has fallen prey to monsters. Oh, it sounds like a cult. But when their leadership is arrested, all her teachings come into question. Those touched by the Fellowship face a choice. How will they adjust to the world that they were taught to fear? And I don't normally read books of this type, but it does sound intriguing.
Yeah.
So I might have to check that out. Total change in pace. Like, complete change in pace. It's a book called The Love Hypothesis, which is by Ali Hazelwood, and this one is from Berkeley. When a fake relationship between scientists meets the irresistible force of attraction, it throws one woman's carefully calculated theories on love into chaos.
Fake dating. Here we go. Somebody's happy.
Good lord. Fake dating.
Check.
The science aspect of it also makes me kind of like have a giggle.
It's cute, right?
I love the thought of it. Plus this cover is so adorable, so can't really go wrong. Back to the slightly more serious side. We have She Who Became the Sun by Shelley Parker Chan. This book says, Mulan meets the Song of Achilles in a bold, queer, and lyrical reimagining of the rise of the founding emperor of the Ming Dynasty.
Okay.
So it's historical fiction, historical fantasy fiction. It sounds amazing though, and I've heard nothing but praise from people who have read it already this early. And plus, I'm a sucker for anything that gets comped with Mulan.
Sure, yeah.
Also, I recently read The Song of Achilles and really enjoyed that, so that comparison is also going to be meaningful to me now.
There you go.
Very excited about this. This one came from Tor. So we're gonna move on right along to like things that other people bought or other people lent me or other people gave me. Like, it's a whole bunch of things.
What you got?
So for book club in March, the book that was picked, and this is my family book club, the book that was picked was The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. I was not the one who bought it. My sister Mel bought it. The Song of Achilles is basically an alternative take on the story of Achilles, but told through the eyes of his closest companion, Patroclus. Madeline Miller chose to tell the story from this perspective because it made the story very different. We'll see further thoughts on that in what we read.
I'm like, are you sure you want to read that?
I already read it.
And they did, and it was great.
Okay, and then we have 2 Jennifer L. Armentrout books. This is from my friend Rachel, who was, you know, culling things. And, and I was like, since I want to read all of her books, I was like, I might as well take these off your hands. So the first book is Starman Fury. The second book, I think, is Rage and Ruin. These are actually a spin-off series to her White Hot Kiss series, which I also have not read. I do know that it has gargoyles in it, and that's really all I wanted to know, so...
Perfect.
This. And Rachel also gave me Accidentally Engaged by Farah Heron. So this one says, all's fair in love and baking. When it comes to bread, Rina Manji knows exactly what she's doing. She treats her sourdough starters like somewhat unruly children. But when it comes to Rina's actual family and their constant meddling in her life, well, that recipe always ends in disaster. Now Rina's parents have found her yet another potential, in all caps, good Muslim husband. This one has the body of Captain America, a delicious British accent, and lives right across the hall.
There you go.
He's the perfect mouth-watering temptation, and completely ruined by the unwelcome side dish of parental interference. She doesn't want to marry anyone who works for her dad, but then a baking opportunity, one that will change her entire life, presents itself. A couple's cooking competition with the prize of her dreams. She'll do anything to win it, even if it means that she has to ask said good Muslim husband to be her fake fiancé. It sounds like it's going to be a whole lot of fun. The only thing I know about this is that, well, basically it has a Shakespearean aspect to it. It is about a group of college students. There is a murder. There is a question of who committed the murder and why. And it's all sounding very, very dark academia to me, and I'm ready for it. Then, to add to my Penguin Drop Caps collection, I finally got the letter E, which is for Middlemarch by George Eliot. And the back quote says, "What do we live for if it is not to make life less difficult to each other?" It's a good quote. It looks like a very chunky read, so it's a little intimidating, but I also do really want to check out this particular classic. Who knows when, though.
That's right.
Okay, first of this is the start of like all the things I pre-ordered, basically. So the first one is a new Boruto light novel, Shikamaru's story, Morning Clouds. Timeline-wise, it's set somewhere in the Boruto timeline. I'm not sure on the actual specifics, but the summary of the story basically has Shikamaru strategizing a way to prevent a new great ninja war from happening.
Oh, that's great.
And it involves his family. Like, if you watch his channel, you guys know that I love Shikamaru is my favorite Naruto character, so obviously this was like a no-brainer where it's like, obviously I'm gonna get it. Like, it's fine. The other thing I pre-ordered is actually wrapped, but this is the pre-order thing that came for it. It's a sticker. I actually have two, which is odd. I should only have one of those. I don't know. But I did pre-order this from the author's local bookstore so I could get it signed because I got a chance to read it early and I really enjoyed it. It was really a lot of fun. It is a book called Namesake by Adrian Young, and this is the sequel to Fable, which came out like 6-ish months ago. In Fable, the main character Fable was left in an island by her father to fend for herself. And until she could get off the island, she's basically been surviving amidst robbers and cutthroats. So she finally gets off the island, finally goes to see her father, wants to be part of his trading crew, but he says no. And so she finds herself instead involved with a different crew of individuals who have helped her out in the past. The ending of that book is kind of a cliffhanger, so it was nice to finally get to read the rest of Fable's story. And I really liked the direction it took in Namesake. I think my favorite thing about it was it gave me full-on Pirates of the Caribbean vibes, specifically Elizabeth Swann vibes. And I love that so much. It was so much fun to read. I'm so excited that this duology is finished. It looks like there's going to be a spin-off though, which is even more exciting. So I can't wait to check that out. This is the Under the Desk Jacket.
Very nice, very nice.
All right, I think Maki might have the copy of the book, but I will show you the pre-order stuff for it. So first, it's going to be obvious what the book is after you see it. So first is this pin.
Lovely
it says
pin.
Rule of Wolves. And second is this, okay. I love this print so much.
Spoilers.
It's this beautiful print that has Nina, Nikolai, and Zoya on it, and some animals, and it's gorgeous. And like, that's all we're gonna say about that. And the book is obviously Rule of Wolves by Leigh Bardugo, which is the second book in the King of Scars duology. I mean, if you have been on this channel, if you watch the Possibility Pile video, you've already seen us summarize it, but it is set in the Grishaverse. It features 3 different characters who are in the other 2 series set in this world. It features Nikolai, who is the Prince of Ravka. It features Zoya, who was a leader of the Grisha. And it features Nina, who was a part of the crew in Six of Crows. And their stories have converged. Well, not quite converged in person yet, but they're starting to connect to each other. And both of us, both me and Maki, are very eager to see how it's gonna all come together. And specifically Team Zoya and Nikolai, but you know,
that's just us.
That's just us. And obviously we could not end this March book haul without talking about the book that we have multiple editions of, including
that we have talked about multiple times, that we have broadcast into the world on multiple platforms.
Yes. I don't even know which edition to start with. Maybe we should start with like the...
We'll start with the vanilla...
one that's like unwrapped already, maybe.
Alright, so let's start with this one. This is the Waterstones exclusive edition.
Yes.
Of Chain of Iron. Look at this gorgeous.
It's a nice green.
It's a very nice green. I like this green. I didn't even like. I'm not even mad. Green's not my favorite color.
Me
but
too.
I'm just like, I like this.
But I like this green.
So it's got the moths like everywhere right on the back, and you know, it's roughly the same sort of like, you know, nothing too special on the end papers bit, but it does have
If you got the Waterstones edition, it has the, I think, her stamp signature.
Yeah, it's got the stamp.
And it also includes the bonus scene and the bonus art, I want to say, that come with all of the first print run editions.
Right.
Speaking of sort of similar editions, we have another one that's in another color, and this is the Illumicrate edition. This is the
also gorgeous,
beautiful, like navy blue foil. It's got some of this like bright yellow sprayed pages, and I love that the quote on the side says, "Secrets consume even the truest love." Doesn't it really? It comes with this cute little like art print of the beautiful Cordelia.
Look at that, and for those of you who don't know what the beautiful Cordelia is, it is a book within the book.
Yes, written by one of the characters in the book.
And it's great. There's like, she's got like a little rapier or whatever that is, like on the cutlass. I don't know what you call those swords.
And this one is also like stamp signed, which is cool. And then...
Speaking of secrets consume even the truest love, you've got that on the back of this particular edition, which is the...
The Fairy Loot edition.
The Fairy Loot edition. This wasn't black with silver, I want to say, foil.
I like
and look
the
at the
edges,
sprayed
yeah.
edges. They've got the moths all the way through. So that's totally like a thing. We've got the same sort of like stamp. And that's just gorgeous. You got like, you know, whatever that mirror type thing here is, which is just, I love so much.
And the last one we have to show you, we actually haven't actually opened yet. It is the LitJoy.
It's wax seal.
It has
guys.
a wax seal with like a rune on it, and I don't want to.
Yeah, let's not like destroy the wax rune seal.
I'm trying not to. I'm trying very hard not to.
Yeah.
Okay. So on the top of the package, there's, oh, okay, this is the list of like what's in it. There's the signed book plate, which we're gonna stick in one of the books. There is something in there, I'm assuming.
I will take it out.
Oh my gosh, I think that's the letter. The Matthew letter. I think that's a Matthew letter.
Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god.
I think it's a Matthew letter.
It is! It's the Matthew letter.
Okay, if you've read Chain of Iron, you know what it is.
And here's the thing, it's not even a spoiler because they write it to each other because it's like the 18th century, whatever. Like, you need a missive to be sent over to someone. But this particular letter, though,
just me being like,
oh boy. And it's not even like, it's one of the letters. Anyway, there are several letters. This is one of the letters.
This is one of the letters. We have a art print, which is of Cordelia Carstairs. This matches the James Herondale print that came with the first book last year.
Oh, interesting.
So we're gonna
we'll collect a set.
We'll just stick it in
Whatever
here.
the third one's gonna be.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
We'll find out.
This edition is basically the normal US edition, but it comes with a slipcase.
Ooh.
So we had the slipcase last year for the
And
other
we
one.
have the slipcase
And we have
this
it
year.
for this year. So as you can see, the spine will look familiar because this is basically the normal. Oh, there it comes. This is basically the normal edition of Chain of Iron. But the slipcase is gorgeous.
It is beautiful.
It has the rune, it has like this foiling, and then the back has, it has a quote.
And the quote says, "Do the Nephilim understand what is happening to them? It has been thousands of years since princes of hell walked on the earth. The Nephilim are descended from angels, but to them angels are fairy tales, a power that exists but is never seen.
It is not wise to forget to believe." True.
That last line is just so
I
good.
was like, don't put the wrong edition in there. Anyway, those are our 4 editions of Chain of Iron, because did you really expect anything else at this point, honestly?
Not at this point.
It's a good thing we really love that book, huh?
That's true. We like. There's too much love, actually. And arguably, it is our favorite book of the entire like saga.
Oh yeah, speaking of Chain of Iron, you can go watch our spoiler-free video, or you can listen to the spoilery bookish breakdown podcast we did for it, which is
that is true.
probably an hour and a half long.
Yeah,
There's
if you
a
got
lot
the
of
time,
spoilers,
you know,
a lot of yelling,
mostly a lot of yelling, mostly a lot of yelling.
some future predictions there.
Yeah, and we just you know
we just love that. We just love that book so much.
We just tear into like.
Like I just think about it right now, and I'm like.
Yeah, I know, it's great. So we'll probably end up reading it more than once throughout this year,
I would
too,
not be
so
shocked.
That's what
But
it is.
yes, that's the end of our March book haul. Nice. It's actually pretty short for us, all things considered. We hope you enjoyed it. Let us know what books you picked up in the month of March. Let us know which ones we mentioned that you're excited for us to read and talk about. Let us know if you also were decimated by Chain of Iron.
Yeah, just the collection of people responding to Chain of Iron is just so life-giving because everyone's just like, I can't function anymore. We're dead. Like, that's just how it works. And I'm just like...
accurate.
Like, I'm never going to be okay again. And I'm like, yeah, that makes sense, yeah.
And you're like, yeah, that's about right.
That's about right, yeah.
Anyway, we hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to find us on any other social media, everything is always linked down below in the description box. And we will see you guys next week with another video. Bye!